Hello, welcome to this week's art tour. My name is Danelle. I've been an artist for quite a few decades, and for most of that time I focused on really big oil paintings of animals of all kinds. I've had a couple of solo exhibits. I've been in many other exhibits. I've sold a lot of commissioned paintings, mostly pet portraits. But today I'm going to show you the work that I have been doing and that I'm excited about, that I have just started doing more of this last year, and that is painting every single day when I am out walking my dogs on the trails here in Southeast Alaska. If that sounds fun to you to follow along and see what I'm doing, what I'm painting, the new things that I'm trying, consider hitting that subscribe button. That would help the channel. I'm excited about building this community. I'm getting more subscribers and I'm getting more comments. People are giving me really great advice and input, and then just sharing what they're enjoying doing with their art. So this week I have watercolors that I've done on the trails, acrylic gouache paintings, and most of them are landscapes. A couple are more like portraits of trees, and then I have kind of a surprise one at the end that I did here at home from a photograph I took yesterday on the trail. And on that one, the painting turned out fairly well, but it just seemed like it was kind of lacking. So I did a fix this morning that really pulled it together, and that made me very happy with that piece. All right, let's get started with the tour. Here is the first painting of the week. This, as usual with my first painting that I show you, is part of a vlog that I did out on one of our really beautiful trails. I show you some of our beautiful western red cedars. They're extra large on that trail, and it leads to this gorgeous beach. And I did paint this, I don't know, maybe a month or so ago, and that is this one. This one was done in acrylic gouache, and someone commented when I showed a comparison between these in my vlog of this one, that this one looked freer, and I think there are two reasons for that. One is that I had already done it, so I was familiar with the scene. I knew what my mistakes were. My mistakes in this one mostly had to do with drawing. This island here was out of proportion, too large. My colors are kind of flat back here and then sort of too exaggerated up here, even though I do kind of like this contrast. But the rocks in this one are drawn better. The perspective in the background is a little bit better. So it's always fun to do the same scene more than once, because you learn something every time. It's gratifying to be able to fix mistakes that you made. So that was really fun. And I hope you enjoy that video if you check it out. Here is one that I did the next day. This is a tree root cave, which is really common here. This is, I think, a big old Sitka spruce tree, and these grow on top of old stumps. There'll be a dead tree stump, maybe it fell over, maybe it was cut down, and then the little trees start sprouting on top of it. And then as the stump rots down very, very, very slowly, the roots of the little trees grow really, really large. And you could easily fit a whole family inside of this tree root cave. It's pretty spectacular. I'll put a card up above for a vlog I did where I show this tree root cave. It's pretty interesting. This one I needed to fix quite a bit when I got home. I was having troubles getting the inside dark enough. And one thing I realized is there was a color of gouache that I have that I hadn't been using. So I had been struggling to get my darks dark enough for quite a while. And then when I realized that I had this color, which is Prussian blue, which I've never really used that color before when I'm doing my oil paintings, but I didn't care. At least it was dark. My normal set is here. You can see I have titanium white. This is, I think, scarlet red, lemon yellow, yellow ochre. And the best I could find for darks previously was this purple color. And then, these are kind of a mess. This is ultramarine blue, sky blue, and is this burnt sienna, I believe. And I was having a hard time in any of my gouache paintings getting a very good dark. So I was delighted to find Prussian blue, even though I wasn't that familiar with it. So I came back and brought in the Prussian blue and was able to finally get these darks in here to be dark enough. So I've been having fun with my gouache set. Now trying to get my paintings to have a wider value range to get darker darks, which really helps. I went a little crazy with all the moss. This tree does have tons of moss on it, and the greens that I can mix with this set, sometimes they're a little too acidy, a little too blue, a little too dark. They're just not quite right. I probably need to, now I have paint all over my hands. I probably need to buy some more paints if I want to be able to mix a wider variety of greens. So the moss either kept being too dark or it kept being this bright acidy kind of color. But I was having fun with it anyway, learned quite a bit. And so that's that one. Wash the blue paint off of my hands. Okay, so here is a lake that I have painted quite a few times in vlogs, and in you can see them in weekly art tours. But this day, it was raining. I often go here when it's raining because there's not only these 3 shelters, but there's 2 shelters that the fly fishermen use. So I went to one of the fly fishermen shelters, and these shrubs here are so tall that you can't really see over them. So I actually put my little folding stool on top of a picnic table inside the shelter so I could see over those shrubs. And so I did have a little bit of a struggle with my brushes. These are the brushes that I bring with me for my gouache paintings. It was hard to get these tiny little dark spaces in here. So when I got home, I was able to be just a little more careful. When I'm out in the field, I do not have my reading glasses on. That's maybe, I shouldn't blame it on the brushes. It's hard for me to see close up. So when I have really fussy detail, like these very small dark spaces, that can be a little tough with no glasses. I'm pretty happy with the way the reflections in the lake turned out. And another thing I did when I got home, I do not carry this color with me. And the only way for me to get these vibrant pink colors in these shrubs, I'll look up the name of these shrubs. I forget right now what these are called, but they're very common here. The only way to get that pink color, I cannot mix it with that red or that white, is to use this magenta. So when I got home, I added in the flowers, I kind of brightened up some of the plants, just kind of touched up the entire painting. This is a waterproof pen with watercolor again, but I did add quite a bit of gouache over the top. This is probably half acrylic gouache now. And here is a little tree portrait I did. Another day it was pouring down rain, so we were sitting in yet a different shelter. And it was kind of drab. It's not a terribly interesting scene, so I thought I'll just focus on this one tree and get some of these white lichens in here. I went a little crazy with this blue back here. I was just kind of having fun with this one, trying to catch the tree's personality. And I don't think there's a whole lot else to say about this one. I do not think I did any touching up at home on this one. And being that it was a rainy week, here I am back at the same lake as this one, but this scene is, I was sitting in that shelter there looking toward the trail that starts there. And this is a pretty plain little scene, but I actually was pretty happy with the way this turned out. This was one of the first days where I realized I had this dark color, so I was able, I was able to get these darker darks back here, which was delightful because it is something I've been struggling with my acrylic gouache for a while, is getting dark enough darks. So I was pretty happy with this one. I like the form and the grass here. Again, I have some surprise blue back here, but it's I'm kind of liking that. I like getting some extra color in there. On drab days here, everything just looks so gray and just dark green and relentless dark green. So some of the blue and then the reds in the bridge, I think, help to give some interest to the scene. And here is a scene. I have painted little pieces from really close to this location before. There's a little bench up here that I've sat at, and then there's mountains you can see facing that way that I've painted before. So this day I decided to paint it from a little different direction. There was this big thick bank of fog down here, and then up here the sky was fairly blue, so it was pretty interesting. This is actually another island. We live on an island called Revilla Gigedo, and then across here is Gravina Island, and on that island is our airport, which is down there a little. So this blue is maybe a little too intense. Those are some low hills that I was trying to, I think the camera's making it look a little more brilliant than it really is too. But for such a plain scene, I feel like this turned out fairly well with these big grasses, and I really enjoyed doing it. It was nice doing a little bit different view that day. Here is one I did this morning, and I'm quite happy with this one. I have been watching a watercolorist on YouTube that I just discovered. His name, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think it's Niaz Hannon. And I'm really enjoying the way he approaches watercolor. He's just very free, very, very confident. And so I'm learning a lot from him. And I think it really helped me with this watercolor. It's not until I started focusing on this YouTube channel in May that I've ever even really done watercolors. So this has been a real learning process for me. And so I have been really excited to start learning some new techniques. I've been watching videos on gouache because gouache is another medium I had never ever used until probably that early June. So this is all very, very new to me. I've been an oil painter for many years. That's what I learned to do in college. I graduated in 1987, so that is how long that I have been just focused almost exclusively on oils. So I'm pretty happy with this one. I have painted this pond quite a few times. This time I narrowed down the focus a little bit, and so that I would just have part of the pond instead of the whole pond. So I like that one. I like how the colors turned out here. Again, I employed this Prussian blue to get these darker trees, which were silhouetted. The sky was just this kind of bright, solid, unvariegated. There was no detail or color in the sky. It was just this solid layer of clouds and mist, which is pretty common here. Now here is my bonus piece. This is the one that I painted from a photo that I took yesterday when I was on a hike. Where's my photo? Here is the photo. This is I believe a marbled orb weaver. So I stopped and took a photo. It's only been really yesterday that I learned how to get my phone. I have an iPhone 13 to get it to focus up close. I don't know why I could never figure that out. So I was really excited to get a good picture. Spiders are something I was terrified of my whole life until I joined a Facebook group called Spiders of Alaska. And so I have become so much more interested in spiders and learning about them and becoming less afraid of them. And these orb weavers are especially beautiful, these marbled orb weavers that have these details in their legs. And painting it was actually pretty cool because it actually helped me understand them more and even become more enamored of spiders and this particular spider. Look at the beautiful, it has this golden color here on it. I think is that its thorax, and then this pinkish color here, and these red knobs on its legs. It's just a gorgeous spider. Now, when I first did this, I did this in waterproof pen, so that's a really good drawing challenge because you can't erase. You have to get it right the first time. And the legs aren't perfect. There's a couple of maybe extra joints in there, but so that was a really good drawing challenge, and then it was really fun to color it in, but it just didn't have the punch that I was hoping for. So I let it sit overnight, And then when I woke up this morning, I thought, I know, it needs a darker background. So I got out my watercolor set, which is this goofy little thing that I found lying around, and this is just a little watercolor cartridge brush that I use. And then I just use this, it's maybe a Payne's gray with a little bit of this dark blue here added, and I just put a wash all over the back. And then I use Niaz Hannon's idea to, he often will take white gouache to add details or little sparkles of color, and he'll often sprinkle kind of dots, kind of splatter on his paintings. Sometimes I feel like he does too many splatters, but I have been trying that. I actually tried that on this one. I didn't have a good brush for splattering, so you can't, I don't know if my camera can focus that close, but I added some spatter here to give the effect of the gravel. So I did not spatter this one, but I did use the white gouache to draw in the beautiful white spider webs. This is a female orb weaver. You can tell by the larger abdomen. And I was able to use the white gouache to put in these beautiful filmy webs that she was clinging to. She was hanging between a rock and some really tall weeds. So this is maybe my favorite one of this week. I'm pretty delighted that I was able to capture that. So I've taken a whole bunch of pictures this week, so I would like to do some more indoors. So those are my works for the week. Let me know if you have any input, advice, if you have any challenges to share that you overcame this week. Thanks so much.